Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. It has been a pleasure to see so many familiar faces today and have a great discussions. And it's an honor to be on stage with the iconic brand from Finland, Nokia, which all of us know. I hope you will enjoy and get inspiration from this presentation, which we will take. And yeah, we are looking forward for the discussion afterwards as well. And digital innovation track. What does innovation mean? I just learned from Nokia's Alan, who is somewhere here, that 80% of the data in the network is actually streaming data. And Nokia codecs are handling that. And Nokia Technologies is actually getting 150 million per year out of that. So I would say that's the digital innovation, and it's great to be here. And without further ado, let's move forward. I will tell two things before I let Sami Ranta from Nokia to begin with his presentation. First thing is the company I am coming from. That's called Growberries. And what do? We are ecosystem company, being here soon 3 years, serving customers from all around the world. Flags not visible here now, but never mind. Our first customer was in USA, a company called Comcast. And yeah, further on, we have been actually working with the European companies, Finnish companies. In general, we do Salesforce consultancy. And we are 20 people strong team with 2,400 colleagues in this ecosystem. Three things what we do. We help our customers with commercial excellence. This is what we talk today with Nokia here. Second thing, growth tech and platforms. That is basically the Salesforce work, what we do. I tell you a secret, we do that for Elisa, for example. Xberries, we deliver CRM experts, freelance experts for customers such as Zalando, which is right after our presentation here on stage. But these three things are what we do. Simple to remember. Another thing what I wanted to introduce before I let Sami to talk is that today the topic is revenue architecture. Many of us have been actually recently hearing revenue operations, revenue architecture. Maybe some of you have heard actually 2018 that there was some guys called Jan Ropponen and Sami Lampinen who were writing a book called Revenue Growth Platform. That's a great book, by the way. Take a look from Amazon. But revenue architecture introduction before I let Sami to talk means that when you look this business bow tie, it's the revenue architecture is actually aligning all of those revenue functions from marketing, sales, customer success, and finance into one efficient system that drives the recurring impact. So recurring revenue is here the thing. And with Nokia, we did the model for their business, which is actually combining hardware, projects, and software. So we had to model the revenue model, we had to model the data model, and then we started also to model the mathematical model. This is the revenue architecture, what we are talking here about. And before I let Sami to start, let's take a look quickly at the introduction video of Nokia RXRM. Let's go.
Ever wondered what progress looks like? The answer? It's all around you, because a fully immersive way of looking at our working world has arrived. Real-time extended reality multimedia from Nokia provides a new perspective on how real-time 360 video, 3D audio, and extended reality can change the way industrial companies operate. Near-zero latency feeds increase the accuracy of what you see and the speed with which you see it with near-instant Ultra HD streaming, while bandwidth optimization reduces the burden on your network. More remote operation means lower costs and safer working conditions. Multiple simultaneous viewers on a single 360 camera means unparalleled levels of efficiency and coherence. Preemptive response times means less time and money spent on wasted journeys and more time operating productively and reliably. Because RXRM is about evolution rather than revolution. It's about a streamlined, scalable setup and open API. As we move towards the next stage of the industrial metaverse, join us in creating the future. Real-time extended reality multimedia. Be a part of a new vision.
Excellent. Welcome on stage, Sami Ranta from Nokia.
Thank you.
Clicker is yours.
So great to be here. So hopefully we'll walk you through our interesting journey. So basically just a bit of the context in here. So I'm Sami Ranta, based here in Espoo or Helsinki area. We do software development and hardware development. Software we create in Tampere, hardware we create in Taiwan, and we have customers globally. And I have pleasure to run a relatively independent business within a big company, which then allows us to do innovation, both in terms of product innovation, but also how do we innovate, how we work, and how do we go to market. So we have a quite good flexibility to form the business in the way that we wish to have. So what I'll cover here is that just a quick overview of our business. You get a bit of kind of context where we are coming from. Talk few customer cases. You get a bit more concreteness of it. And then specifically focus on the work that we've been doing with my namesake in terms of looking at that, how can we accelerate sales growth, both in terms of customer satisfaction and new customer acquisition. And then I'll share some learnings and hopefully they're as practical as possible. So in terms of the business context, Nokia doesn't do any phones, if somebody still thinks so. Nokia's main business is telecom infrastructure, but we have a growing roughly 3 billion business for enterprises. And for enterprises, basically, there are three elements to it. So we provide wireless networks, so private wireless networks for industries like mining or logistics or manufacturing and so forth. So basically the customer gets a completely own network that is highly secure and reliable and basically only for that enterprise or their partners. Then we have edge computing platforms, so basically different type of computing hardware where customers can run business critical applications in a secure environment. And then we have different type of applications, push to talk, push to video, indoor positioning, and our video application, RXRM, is one of those applications. We also have a lot of third-party applications. Of course, Nokia doesn't know all the app businesses, so we invite partners to innovate together with us. So that's basically the context of this of the business. So as the video quickly explained, so what we have done is we have created an advanced video streaming solution mainly for industrial customers, which basically allows our customers to run wireless video. So basically cameras can be placed almost in any location. And then as it's wireless, we are optimizing the video traffic in a way that we don't congest the network as our technology is smart in terms of how it uses the network capacity. In addition, we've been incorporating high quality audio, which gives capabilities to use audio, for example, to monitor process quality in a production site. And then basically with that, our customers are able to enhance productivity, improve employee safety, drive new revenue streams. And as this application is relatively universal, our customers are using this in very many ways, depending on the industry. Basically, that was the core of the business what we started, and we started to work this with available third-party video cameras that exist in the market. But basically, what we came to realize is that our customers were not happy with those cameras, and then we basically started to innovate a camera that we launched just a few months back and is going to be available next month, which is basically world's first 360 5G camera. So basically, you can think that this is a camera that you can place almost anywhere and it sees everything. So it's the ultimate video streaming camera product. And the one aspect that we've been innovating is also that how do you place these in harsh environments? So for example, we heard from Metso about mining, and mining is probably the most demanding environments where you can place these type of cameras. So basically having industrial durability is critical. So a unique hardware product that we offer to our customers. So that's a bit of the business, so software and hardware combined. So then if we look at a bit like where our customers operate, so Metso showed some nice pictures from a mine. Mining is a big industry for us as well, where basically mining operators are, for example, remotely operating mining vehicles with the help of video streaming. We have customers in manufacturing who use this for remote technical support. So even at the other side of the world, if the local technician cannot fix a piece of machinery, technician, an engineer here in Finland could then provide help to that local technician with using 360 video. And we have a lot of industrial processes where our camera system is embedded to further enhance productivity in manufacturing processes. And as you can imagine, in the current political situation, there are a lot of critical infrastructure that need to be monitored. There's probably no better way to monitor them than using 360 video. So that's basically the business context. So now, if we then move forward and talk about a bit how we've been innovating more on the way that we do we work with our customers. So let's look at some of the challenges that we have been facing. So those of you who know telecommunication business, it's a very traditional business. So typically telecom customers and also industrial enterprises have used to buy things as a capital expenditure. So let me just buy a piece of hardware, let me buy 3-year software license and off I go. So that's basically where the business model has its origins of. So now what we want to build is more recurring revenue based on software. And basically the transition that we are at is a mix of traditional way of doing business where we want to move towards software as a service and at some point also hardware as a service. So that's a bit of a difficult kind of equation to solve. Then, as you saw, this is not pure software as a service business. Of course, we have hardware product that typically the customer buys a set of cameras, which we or our partners then install. So it's not something that you just go online and buy. There's actually physical things that you need to first deliver and set up, and then the video streaming service is at use. So it's slightly business model-wise a bit more complicated business than traditional software business. Then of course organizationally another challenge is that if one has been in business for 20 years and been serving customers with traditional way of doing business, it's not an easy change of mindset to move from a traditional business model to as a service model. So that takes a bit of change management. In terms of KPIs, so those who have been working with as a service business models know that there are quite different set of KPIs that one need to follow. So for example, one of sell is not necessarily so important than continued software revenues that recur every month, every year, and so forth. So the KPI thinking is something you also need to change. So now with Growberries, we went through and started to look at that. What are all the mechanisms where we can improve the business? So one of the kind of learnings was that the traditional way to think about is not so much focused on customer kind of usage, so monitoring that how actively customers actually make use of the system, and typically customer usage is a sign of customer satisfaction, and customer satisfaction typically then drives your customer retention. So paying more focus on that was one of the key opportunities that we saw being opportunity for improvement. And that again requires systematic processes and responsibilities. So what we call customer success management is all about making sure that existing customers are happy and they expand the use of our solution. And it doesn't happen automatically. You need to really pay specific attention to it. Then even in conservative industries, what we've learned is that there's an opportunity to use what I would call like digitally assisted sales. Some call it inside sales. But basically the idea of using digital channels to attract interest, which then result in new customers approaching you, and then you follow through them, typically first remotely in these modern times, as our customers can come from Chile or Australia. You don't probably first jump to a plane and fly there to meet them first time. You most likely want to meet them a few times over Teams or similar, and then you meet them face to face. So this digital kind of a digitalization of the marketing and sales process has been something that has been one of our focus areas. And then for any new technology, typically what the customers want to do with you is that they want to first see the value in small scale. And then when we have been able to prove the value, only then you start to broader adoption of the solution. And one of the opportunities that we saw in our business is that the more systematically you help your customer to get the value from the initial implementation and then move forward is actually quite critical for the customer being happy. So those were the improvements that we identified. And then just to conclude in terms of the key learnings that we've been gathering from the process. So first of all is that the revenue architecture is something that is for many individuals who come from a traditional business, it's quite a new way of thinking business. And it's easy to assume that everybody understands how the new world works. That rarely is the case. So you need to understand how the system works for customer acquisition, what are all the steps and conversion points, and what are then the mechanisms to retain your customers and expand the customer relationship from the original scope to a broader scope. Then KPIs, they are not the KPIs that you look at in a traditional balance sheet or in a profit and loss statement. They are something else. So different type of conversion measurements, win rate in terms of your new customer acquisition, how does your retention work, so how many customers stay year over year, extremely important measure, and how do you follow through the revenue you get from your from customer relationships, not as a one-off sale, but more as an ongoing business. So those KPIs are fundamentally important. And then things don't happen overnight. One needs to invest a lot of in change management, understanding what's blocking the change in people's behavior, not only within your own organization, but sometimes within your customers. So don't assume that everything will happen immediately. So it's a change journey. So innovation doesn't necessarily happen easily. Product innovation is challenging, but also to innovate how you work is sometimes challenging. But that's a great opportunity to grow the business. So with that, I'll invite my namesake to join me on the stage.
All right, great. Thanks for the presentation, Sami. We had a couple of questions, actually, what we thought that it would be good to talk here, but there have been plenty of industrial companies here today. So any message on the 360 video streaming for these companies?
So I would probably kind of start with pretty basic point. So I could imagine that in most companies one uses video for some purpose. Typically it's surveillance and safety purpose. Cable connected cameras that are being used for relatively passive use. Now what we see not only with 360 camera but also with other new camera systems is that you can actually deploy them to improve your operational efficiency, quality control, and that's actually massive opportunity to improve efficiency in different type of operations. Then if you couple that with wireless, of course the value is even further. But it's I think the industrial video market is highly conservative and kind of moving beyond the obvious. I think that's the challenge for many industrial customers.
Yeah. Then maybe about the revenue architecture work, what we did. We talked a lot about this funnel 1, customer acquisition, and then funnel 2, retention and expansion. How do you plan to prioritize these in RXRM?
So of course it's easy to say that both are important, but obviously as a growth business, of course the first part is important, like resource-wise more important for us. So we invest quite a lot to that, but we need to make sure that we keep focus on customer satisfaction as well. But I would say that the first part, for the time being, is more important.
Acquisition. All right. I think we have a few minutes left for any audience questions. Are there anybody who wants to ask something from Sami? I can see one there.
Two.
It's hard to see anything.
Hi, Sami, or Samis.
Hey.
My name is Anu Matson. I come from Metso. I'm very interested in your digitally assisted sales, and you also refer to the name inside sales. So how did you get rid of the inside sales with the digital assisted sales? And then also the second question is that how much did you increase your efficiency by adapting to this way of working?
So first of all, it's not replacing, it's more complementing. So basically, I think there were, for us specifically, it was 2 steps. So first was that we were slightly concerned of relying on digital marketing because of our customers are relatively conservative. So that was first what we tried. And actually that proved to be actually pretty successful if you have like substance-wise meaningful messages to your audience. So that was first step. Then the second step was that in the first step what we did was that all the customer inquiries from digital channels were passed directly to our customer-facing salespeople. And that, unfortunately, what we saw was deprioritized easily, because if you have a kind of existing customers, opportunities that are very far in the pipeline, of course you focus on those. Then everything that is new, you just forget. So that's why we established this kind of specific team that handles this new customer engagement. So that was added on top of the first step. So it was kind of complementing, not replacing. It's quite difficult, honestly speaking, to have exact figures how much, like number-wise, it has improved our efficiency. But the gut feel is that very much. So the speed at which we can operate, the customer experience is getting better. Of course, we are getting more customers through new processes. So we are happy, even though we don't have exact numbers, how that equation works.
Great.
So did you increase tremendously your orders received, or then of course eventually the sales?
Yes.
Working.
Correct.
Double digit or single?
As the starting point was so low, of course, double digit.
Okay.
So thanks, Sami. And Sami, Patrick Ross is my name. And a question about when you say that you have so many different use cases for this, and then you had drones, and you said the security. And then I know that Nokia now announced that you have this military. So is this a part of the military offering that Nokia is having?
Yes, correct. So basically, you can put this into, some people call it dual use. So basically the same product, same set of technologies can be applied to various purposes. So you saw some clips from an energy company that uses 360 video and a drone to monitor power lines. It's not that far from a government's monitoring borders. So technically it's exactly the same, but the use case is different, but the product is exactly the same. So that's why I talk about this dual use, because the same product can be applied to completely two different purposes.
Good. I think we have time for one more question in case there is one. Yep, go ahead.
Hi, Sami and Sami, thank you. Anders talked about this twin transformation, and it feels that you are doing sort of the same. You're innovating the products, but you're at the same time innovating the business model behind it. Is this hard to balance from a day-to-day basis?
I don't think necessarily the coexistence of both is the challenge, but within both you have your own challenges. Of course, in product innovation, it's the classical kind of challenges of driving new software technologies, driving new hardware technologies, and that's a tough thing to do. And at the same time, when you innovate on your ways of working, it's tough, but in other ways, it's more like psychologically difficult versus like technically difficult. So coexistence is not a problem, but of course, you need to balance that. You can't change everything overnight. So you need to bit of face when you change different things.
Excellent. Oh.
Thanks for the presentation. Heli Venho from Elisa. As an old Nokian, I'm interested of the Nokia brand. So as you kind of started yourself that we don't do mobile phones anymore. So is it a burden or is it an advantage?
It's a mix of both. So 2 years back, we renewed the whole brand identity. And one of the reasons was that the old brand was so much associated with the, if I call it like a failed phone business, failed consumer phone business. And in many places where Nokia brand, take India or Asia, where that was like the most glamorous brand of everything, of course, it was a bit of a drag. I would say today it's I would say positive, slightly positive, I would say, because it brings credibility and awareness. But when the content you talk about, the way you feel from brand perspective is completely different what it was. It gives you a like fresh start. So I think we've been probably managing that quite well. So leveraging the legacy but bringing freshness.
Thanks, good to hear.
So thanks to everybody.
Thank you.